Hey there everybody, it's Lynnea. There's a fun collaboration happening between Pink and Main and Pear Blossom Press. So myself and a bunch of other creators are going to be bringing you a lot of inspiration pairing these two companies together. We're all going to be using the Easy Lights system from Pear Blossom Press, and you're going to see a lot of different inspiration using Pink and Main products. I'll be using their new Day of the Dead stamp set as well as the coordinating dies, the Blessings Slimline die set, and then the Layered Circles die set with the Scallop Waves dies to create a fun nighttime scene. So I stamped out 3 of my little images from the Day of the Dead stamp set. I have these 2 little characters and then a little guitar, and I'm going to color them with Copic. When I like to Copic color, I like to color on Neenah cardstock. Mine is just 80 pound. I find that it blends great for Copic markers. And I just do very simple coloring. You're going to see me using 2 markers for each color that I am coloring here. So for the hat, I'm using E51, E53. I'm kind of keeping all of my coloring to one color scheme. I'm using some browns and then some pops of red for highlights. So on the guitar, those little swirls and decorations are going to be in red, as well as the decorations on the sombrero, her dress, and his jacket I'm going to have be red as well. And again, just doing simple 2 marker coloring. Now, I don't know much about the Day of the Dead, I have to admit, but I did a little bit of research in preparation for this card, and it seems like a white painted face and hands were the way to go for these little characters. So I'm just using C0 and C2 to color them up. Once I have them all colored, I'm going to pop on over to my Day of the Dead die set, and I'm going to use a little bit of purple tape to tape these in place and run them through my Gemini cutting machine. You just want to put a little piece of purple tape over the dies and stamped images, give that a press to adhere, and run them through, and you have cute little die sets. So I'm kind of starting to lay out how my scene is going to be. I have that Blessing slimline, and I'm just going to be using that outer reverse scalloped frame. And then from the Pink and Main Layered Circles die set, I chose a circle die that's going to represent my moon. And I'm going to die cut that from some masking paper and position that up in the top left-hand corner of my paper so that my moon is going to be peeking out from that reversed scalloped rectangle die set. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of easy ink blending. I'm using Distress Oxide inks because I want them to blend together smoothly, and it's hard to see here where that circle masking outline is. As I start ink blending, you'll see it a little bit more, but I'm kind of keeping my ink away from the direct edge. So I'm coming up close to that masked circle, but not overlapping it. And that's because I want the light of the moon to kind of be glowing a little bit. I didn't want to have harsh circle lines. So I went in first with some black soot to give that sky a dark, creepy top. And then I have Seedless Preserves. I love bringing purple into my nighttime skies. I think it really just makes it pop with color and look realistic. Once I have those colors on, I'm going to remove my mask, and I'll be using Fossilized Amber as well as a little bit of Squeezed Lemonade to fill in my moon. And because I didn't go all the way up to the edge of that circle, you can see how it looks like the moon is glowing and there's that halo of light around the moon. So that's my background all done and ready to go. From there, I wanted to create some stitched hills for my foreground. So I have the Pink and Main Scallop Wave dies, and I'm going to die cut these a couple times so that I can get 3 different waves of hills. I cut that from black cardstock, and they have that fun stitched detail on the top. And then I'm just going to use some tape runner adhesive just to adhere these onto my slimline card background. I should mention that my card base for my slimline card is 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 inches. Once I have all 3 of those hills taped in place, I'm going to take my border die, which I die cut from the Blessing Slimline die set, and I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to adhere this onto my card. You can use any kind of adhesive. I prefer liquid adhesive, so that gives me a chance to kind of move my die around and make sure it's positioned correctly. Okay, so now it's time to make the light up element of this card. I want to have the lights right behind kind of the midpoint in between their eyes so that it looks like their faces light up when you push the button. So all I did was position my characters onto my card base, and then I used my little poker tool and poked out a hole, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and roughly cut a larger hole. This looks terrible and ugly right now, but you're not going to see it at all. I positioned my background on top of a 3 1/4 by 8 1/4 slimline card base, and I drew a little pencil line through my cutout hole so that I know exactly where to put my lights. I also am going to have the guitar, I'm going to have the little guy holding the guitar, and when you push on the guitar, that's going to activate the light up mechanism. So I added a little X on my card base where I want the button to be. I took the easy light mechanism and I added some strong double-sided adhesive behind the button and the power pack itself. I added that so that that little purple button lines up exactly where my X is, and that's where I'm going to have my push button. From there, I take the strings of lights and just string them to the little dots that I have that represent where I want the lights to be. When I do this, I just kind of curl up the extra wire. These wires are made extra long so that you can really put them anywhere on your card. And then I make sure that the yellow of the light bulb is facing up. You don't want that facing into your card. Now here's where I kind of go a little crazy. I had that top light strung up so that it would light up the moon, but I made my moon just a little bit too big and the light bulb was kind of pinpointed behind it, and I didn't like the way it was looking. So all I did was take my scissors and I cut off that one string of wire that was headed up towards the top of my moon. And the other two lights still work just fine. Now you want to make sure that you add some foam tape around your mechanism so that your light bulb isn't constantly on. Without the foam tape, your card will be constantly pushing on the button and you're going to run out of battery pretty quick. I like to use the double-sided foam tape from Pear Blossom Press, and I will link that down in the bottom. So I switched off my lights. If you are light sensitive, get prepared because I'm going to be switching my lights on and off for a little bit here. I added some foam tape behind my guy and girl there and positioned them on top of where I had those little cutouts for the light bulbs. I added a sentiment on top of my moon, and now when I push the guitar, which is the button, you're going to see them light up. Unfortunately, because of my lights, they're so bright you couldn't really see the lights, so that's why I turned those off. So that's it. Quick and easy, and a great way to create some interaction with your card. I hope you enjoyed this collaboration hop. I'll see you soon. Bye! Thank you again very much for watching this video. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button that is on the screen now. And here are a few other videos that I thought you might enjoy.